most weird.
To be on the edge of control.
I like the speed. I like the battles, defying the odds. I want to be champion.
Hello and welcome to UKC, the Ultimate Karting Championship. After 4 months and a strange start to the year, we're finally going racing. I'm Kev Harris, and coming up over the next 2 programmes, we're going to be bringing you all of the super final action from this round 1 of the 2020 debut season. With an entry list of over 150 talented young drivers who have arrived from all across the UK and further afield, we're going to see racing in 7 different classes, with age group categories in the cadets who are aged 8 to 13, and the juniors who are 11 to 14, and the seniors who are 15 years of age and older. They'll be going wheel to wheel, fighting it out for the podium, the cash prizes and the honour come the end of the season of being able to call themselves the Ultimate Karting Champion. And for our first race of the season, we're here at Rowrah in the heart of Cumbria, where the track sits in the base of what was once Kelton Head Quarry. And it's long since been a proving ground for many aspiring young drivers, with a racing alumni that includes some of motorsport's biggest names. David Coulthard, Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton have all plied their trade right here. At just over 1 kilometre a lap, there are plenty of challenging corners. And as you can see here, the natural landscape has produced plenty of steep gradients. There are lots of opportunities for the drivers to battle for the win, and it's certainly going to make for some exciting racing. Well, as a new series and the first weekend of racing, it's certainly going to be an exciting one for everyone. I took a chance to catch up with some of the drivers in the paddock earlier today. Come podiums at the end of the day, what are you hoping for? Where do you think you're going to finish up?
Top 5 would be good. I got a top 10 in the heat yesterday. Started from the back to 10th.
What has your driver coach been telling you this morning ahead of today? It's nice and sunny, it's nice and dry out there, you'll be on the slicks. What's on your mind this morning?
They told me to just stay calm and just don't overdrive, and then just focus on the race.
Well, first out on track then, it's the turn of the Super Cadets, and this is the largest entry here this weekend. There's over 45 of them running. And while they may be the youngest drivers here, they are some of the most committed and serious little faces that you're ever going to see behind the wheel of a kart. Let's go and join your race commentator, Jake Sanson.
Thanks, Kevin. What a race this is going to be. The first ever IAMI Super Cadet A final at the Ultimate Karting Championships. Nathan Tye and Alex O'Grady on the front row from Slater Wolf, Duncan and Cal Clark, and away we go, straight to the first corner here at Rowrah. And it's always very tricky in this first chicane. Let's see if everybody manages to make it through. Our cameraman is the number 47. That is Ben Smith trying to make his way on the inside of Mins. Mins holds the inside line nicely as they come through the hairpin. Whoops, a couple of drivers bunny hopping their way out of the hairpin as they come up towards the beautiful back straight on this gorgeous Rowrah circuit here at Cumbria. Lots of good overtaking moves on the first lap. Nathan Tye has the order pretty much nailed at the moment. It's looking pretty stable in front of Alex O'Grady as the field continues to swarm out of St John's. And as they come down the drop, this is going to be an absolutely terrific race for the leader, Nathan Tye, if he can keep this kind of pace up on Alex O'Grady. Noah Wolf They're in third position in front of Alfie Slater, then Cahal Clark and Charlie Hart close in behind. Then it's Connor Duncan, and then we've got Macaulay Bishop in front of Sebastian Mins, and our cameraman Ben Smith currently in P10 as the field storms into lap 2. No major dramas in the opening encounter. On board again with Ben Smith. Here's Mins. Are we going to get the move on the inside here? Into McRae's. We certainly are. Up the inside. And now we're giving chase to Macaulay Bishop. But look at that. The top 4 drivers well and truly breaking away. Ty, O'Grady, Wolf and Slater very much getting away from the rest of the pack. And there's a big gap back to the battle for 5th position. So already Nathan Ty setting the tone here in front of O'Grady. Third place, the 45 of Noah Wolf. Oh, and there's a jostle. That's Macaulay Bishop getting the place up at a P6. So making his move, and that's a very important overtaking move to make as well. Macaulay Bishop getting the job done there. As we ride on board behind Connor Duncan, we have made a couple of moves ourselves here. As now, oh, that's Cahal Clark getting squeezed, and he's run wide. That's cost him several places as we go into lap 3. And we've got several dramas through the field here. Even in the tail end, Charlie, there are some amazing young racers having a good battle. We've got our other cameraman in that mix as well, the 83 of Ethan Woodward. So we've got one driver towards the front end of the field making waves. As up the inside, there goes Cahal Clark getting some comeback, and Lewis Werrell gets on his inside as well. They're the 101 as they go down the max straight. Now we're on board with Woodward. That's Housley to the left-hand side. We're going to try and make our move on the inside line. Good bit of wheel-to-wheel. Whoops, Lewis, that bit isn't the racetrack. That's the grass. So Werrell gets through on the inside eventually past the 17 of George Edgar as we go back into the middle of the field. That is the 69 in front of us. That's Eden Spanswick getting on the inside of Cunningham. They rub wheels. That is as close as an accident you can get without going to the scene of it. Across the line and into lap 4, and Nathan Ty is just taking it in his stride in front of Alex O'Grady. The Irishman behind him is trying to edge away with Nathan Ty, but the number 42 has genuinely won everything so far this weekend. He's been the top of every practice session and has won every race thus far. So Nathan Ty, definitely very much the king of the hill so far in Miami Super Cadet. So down to the hairpin. This is where things are going to get tricky in the midfield. That's a nice move on the inside from the 32 of Michael Walker. He gets through there on the 18 of Riley Cranham. So good little battle in the midfield, still dicing, and that's a very late lunge there from Edgar. He can't quite make the move stick there on Lewis Werrell, who holds his line nicely on the way through. Some drivers surging forward, others struggling to get to grips with the pace. And here is a big lunge coming up from Ben Smith. That was a lovely overtake, and whoops, Lewis Werrell once again finds a bit more of the racetrack than he expected, and also getting through on Edgar there on the inside of the final turn. That was the 15 of Mason Rudman. So Rudman gets through, and that's a nice pass there from Jesse Phillips. He gets through on George Edgar as well. So some good battles then all the way through the field, but it's Ty, O'Grady, Wolf, Slater, Charlie Hart. We're on board, looking at Lewis Werrell. This is a tough battle. Is this going to be a move up the inside? Yes, it is. Lovely move from Ben Smith, and tucked up behind them now is Roman Kamyab. He's trying to get up the inside as well. On board with Ethan Woodward. He has got some work to do to catch up to the drivers up in front of him. A nice jockey for position, and that's Smith running wide. Perfect opportunistic move there from Lewis Werrell. As they come up through the far end of the course now, the final turn, Nathan Ty still there in front of Alex O'Grady as we go into lap number 6. And it's Ty, O'Grady, Wolf and Slater still well clear. Charlie Hart safe for the moment in 5th, ahead of McLaughlin, then Connor Duncan, and then in 8th place it is Macaulay Bishop in front of Cahal Clark and Sebastian Mins. Check out the midfield battle. Still going strong here as the drivers continue to muscle away. Now we do seem to have lost a few drivers from the fray already, unfortunately. Fraser Anderson has dropped away, as have both Morgan Moore and Michael Walker. They seem to have disappeared, unfortunately, and that means that we will not see them come to the end of this race. Hopefully there is more where that came from. That's a lovely dive up the inside of the 73. No problems at all there in terms of Sebastian Mins losing out, but certainly very costly with Cahal Clark getting the move done. So they come over the straight once again, and still Nathan Ty holds station. We're into lap 7, getting towards the half-distance mark of this race in terms of duration. So they are still pushing on around the circuit, but the top 2, Ty and O'Grady, have well and truly dropped the rest of the field here. Wolf is still strong in 3rd ahead of Alfie Slater. That's side by side. Nice move up the inside there from the 44 as the recovering William Murta makes the lunge and gets the place. Now we're on board with Woodward. In front of us there is Freddie Housley, the 36, into the hairpin. Housley doing a fair job there in position. Oh, a nice little jostle up the inside there, and that is the 17 of George Edgar getting his move on Sebastian Weldon. Into the right-hander, and we've lost the place now. Mason Rudman finds his way through on Woodward, and a big jockey down the inside. No, that was 2 for 1. Lovely move there on the inside from Joe Lewis, considering he started last. That is a 2 for the price of 1 overtake. Lovely job there on the right-hander. Awesome battling from the front of the field to the back. That is what is great about the Ultimate Karting Championship already. It's not just at the front that there are great races, it's in the middle of the pack as well. Through the first corner, the chicane, obviously pushing hard now as he chases after Mason Rudman. Oh, and that's a problem in the chicane. 2 of them are gone. Oh dear, that looks like Sky Parker is one of them, and who is the other? I think I can just about make out. I think that is going to be Henry Domain. So the 2 drivers have come together there. Sky Parker for the Ambition R squad, and I think Henry Domain for the Oliver Rowland Motorsport team is gone. That's a real shame. We're on board again with Woodward chasing after Mason Rudman, but the yellow flags are out for these 2. They obviously need to be very careful now going through that section of the course, as Sky Parker is being helped away by the marshals, and I think Henry Domain has got himself away from the scene. We go into lap 9, and still Woodward close to Mason Rudman, but the yellow flags mean they have to wait. So the battle still raging. Is that Sky Parker getting back into the race? I think it is. Fair play to Sky Parker. And, well, she's got more escapades coming up, but how far can she get? Nathan Tighe still leading. Can he close out the win? Don't go away. We're about to find out. Race action continues here in the Ultimate Karting Championship. We go into lap 10 of the IAMI Super Cadet final. Nathan Tighe leading the way. Oh, that's a spin! That's gone terribly well. Oh my goodness! 2 or 3 karts going in there. Now that started because of a spin from Mason Bishop. Jack Mowat had nowhere to go, and nor did Oscar Cartmail. He's the one who's rolled it. Oh dear, I hope he's okay. Yes, he's up and out of the kart and gets away. Now that's a big incident, and that's obviously in a rather dangerous place. Now, how did that happen? That was basically Mason Bishop lost it coming through the left-hander. Let's look at it again. So we're on board with Woodward. Bishop's already gone. A clout there from Jack Mowat, but Cartmail has nowhere to go, and Freddie Housley takes avoiding action as well. It looks a lot worse than it is. Cartmail's kart upside down, but fortunately Oscar Cartmail is able to get out of the kart seemingly unhurt, although obviously the adrenaline's running. They have to make sure and check him over, and they've pulled the red flags out. Red flags. I think that's the safest option, really. And we're on lap 10 at the red flag, so we're a long way into the race. Now, they're either going to form up again in single file and run the rest of the race duration, but there's only about 3 minutes to go, or they may decide to stop it altogether. I think the best course of action really is to make sure everybody's okay and then restart it. But Nathan Tighe leading the way from Alex O'Grady, Noah Wolf and Alfie Slater as the field is brought around. And they're just checking over Oscar Cartmail now. Hopefully the number 80 is perfectly okay, but they just have to do their precautionary checks, of course, to make sure that everything is all right. They're going to bring the drivers to the starting grid. They're going to line up. They'll walk off again, or drive off again, I should say, sorry, in single file formation. And then we can get this restart. Oh, goodness me, that's Roman Kamyab. Now, something must have failed on the kart there. I would not at all be surprised if the brake cable has snapped, because Roman Kamyab is not that kind of racer at all. Let's have a look again. Look, his foot is on the brake pedal. You can just about see it. He's got no control of that kart. So something's definitely failed on it, and I think that has declared the race. So Nathan Tighe is your race winner now from Alex O'Grady and Noah Wolf, and that is a fantastic result for Nathan Tighe. Everybody seems to be okay after the incident, which is a big relief. While the action has stopped out on track, Kevin managed to catch up earlier with Dan Hazelwood from Fusion Motorsport.
Dan, great to see you here this weekend. You've got a lot of people under your tent. It's another busy weekend for you.
Yeah, it is. I think in total we've got around 20 drivers out across the 2 teams. So we're running the cadets right up through to the senior X30s. So 4 different classes, quite a few drivers to manage, but a lot of staff, as you can see. So yeah, we're pretty organised.
And tell us a quick bit about Fusion Motorsport, an important team here this weekend, and team support for youngsters these days in karting is vital.
it is a team sport these days. You know, it's all moved on from the early days of karting where it was a dad and lad sport. Now it's predominantly teams that bring the drivers to championships like this, and it's important with a new championship like UKC just starting up to have the support of the teams, bring the drivers along, add some professionalism to the support, to the whole sport, and it's good to see other teams as well backing it. So we're excited about the championship.
Yeah, tell us a bit about that, because obviously a new championship, should have been 7 rounds. We've had a late start to the year, but everything seems to be going well so far for this first one. What was it about UKC that made you want to get involved?
I think the idea of the slightly different format for the championship and also the classes, particularly with the cadet class, it's a bit faster, grippier tyres, all the kids love it, mechanics enjoy working on the karts, you know, and it's the spectacle as well, you know, it's more exciting racing and everything, so all of that side of things, and it's just nice to do something a little bit different, a bit fresh, a bit new.
Well, the Super Cadet racing proving to be as eventful as ever, and at this stage we obviously just hope all of those young drivers are okay. Let's get confirmation of what happened at the end and join them at the podium.
It was hard through the session because we had Alex O'Grady pushing us, but the one lap that he wasn't there, I thought this could be the time that we get the final there, so I pushed as hard as I could, and then when I saw that red flag, just prayed to God the race ended there.
Next out on track, it's the turn of the X30 Minis. Aged 11 to 13, these young drivers have stepped up an age category from the cadets here, and their karts have too. Now running in a 125cc kart that could see them reach speeds of up to 70 miles per hour. Here's Jake Sanson with the race commentary.
Rylan Ekberg on the inside line, Gabriel Stilp on the outside line. This is going to be a cracking Mini X30 final as they come to the line, and we are racing. 14 minutes to go, and it's already a corking start from Ekberg up the inside, and also Henry Gregory in there. 2 karts running wide in the middle. That got very messy indeed. On board with Ella Stevens as she tries to carve her way through the field, chasing down Ethan Simmons, and in the mix there too is Aidan Hassan as they come into the hairpin for the first time. Looks like everybody's going through A-OK. Into the right. Anna spoke too soon. Joseph Rippon gets caught up there with Anastasia Dean. So they both run deep there into the hairpin. And already there's a big battle for third position. That looked like Gregory getting the best of it. Brilliant bit of driving already. So an absolutely corking start. Ekberg is in the lead from Gabriel Stilp, and these two have already started to stretch out in front. Gregory in third position. Stilp has his first big look on the inside of the final turn. He's not going to get through. So Ekberg and Stilp, no problems at all for them. Then Gregory, Vinnie Phillips in fourth place from Leo Robinson. Then Jack Hobson, Simmons, Hassan, Ella Stevens and Freddie Allen. On board with Stevens, is that the move up the inside of Robinson? Looks like it's okay to me. And Ethan Simmons is going to be next as they battle away for position. Up the inside, that'll do nicely, no problems at all. Next target, Jack Hobson up in front. And Gabriel Stilp has got the lead there, in front of Rylan Ekberg. I'm so busy paying attention to the midfield battle, I missed that Stilp got the lead. But then Mini X30 and Gabriel Stilp in the lead have not exactly been unfamiliar phrases in 2020. Here we go as they charge their way through. That is Ethan Simmons we were looking at there, and it's Aidan Hassan that we were riding on board with, the young man from Milton Keynes, charging down the back straight. Still a fascinating little tussle on the inside of Aidan Hassan. That's one of the Coles Racing karts making the move through, temporarily at least, as Ethan Simmons makes the move, and then Hassan gets him straight back again on the exit. So they continue to run through from the far side of the field and up to the front again. So into lap number 4, and it is Stilp who leads. From Ekberg, we're on board with Ella Stevens, trying to make up some ground. Phillips is third from Gregory, Robinson, and the top 5 are well clear. Ella Stevens in 6th place in front of Hobson, Hassan and Ethan Simmons. Alam is in 10th place now from Rippin, and then it is Thomas Carter, Kira Harris, Ethan Haig, and Wesley Swain, with Anastasia Dean just trying to catch up to the field after her little moment earlier on. So the top 5 come through. Into lap 5 they come. And still Ekberg being hustled by Stilp. Vinnie Phillips is there in 3rd position. We're on board with Aidan Hassan, trying to charge after Jack Hobson. Great little battle with these guys in the middle of the fray. But the top 4 definitely getting well clear now, as closing in is Vinnie Phillips trying to make his move here. In 3rd position, that's a big lunge from Ekberg on Stilp for the lead. Stilp trying to come back around the outside. Vinnie Phillips tries to get a move on there in there as well. And it's a very tricky battle now for the leaders, and that has brought Henry Gregory right back into contention in 4th position. Leo Robertson's in the mix there as well. We're on board with Aidan Hassan, still having a little bit of a badinage with Ethan Simmons as we go into lap 6. This is going to get pretty dicey for the lead though. Ekberg in front of Stilp once more, so he's retaken the advantage. 3rd place Phillips, 4th is Gregory, 5th is Robinson, and that's Ekberg running wide. Stilp has got through. So Stilp gets through to the position, and now Vinnie Phillips is going to get on the inside line. He gets into 2nd place. Nice overtake from Vinnie Phillips, and that puts the former leader, Rylan Ekberg, down into 3rd position. So Stilp, Phillips, Ekberg, Gregory, and then Robinson. The top 5 well clear. Stevens is trying to close up, and the more these 5 drivers battle, the more likely that is to occur, as Vinnie Phillips gets caught out there trying to make the move on Gabriel Stilp through the hairpin. Oh, and that's Ekberg running wide. Ekberg runs wide. Let's look at it again. He's just gone on the power a little too early and drifted onto the grass. And that, I'm afraid, is Rylan Ekberg off the circuit. Dear oh dear, so that's dropped him down into 5th position at the very least. But I think it's even worse than that. I think he's down to 6th now behind Ella Stevens. So Stilp is your leader. Phillips, Gregory, Robinson, Ella Stevens. We're on board with Aidan Hassan, still giving chase to Ethan Simmons. This is the battle for P7. And up the inside, that's a lovely move from Leo Robinson to get through there into 3rd position on Gregory. So Robinson is now into the place in 37, but Stilp is still holding station here in front of Vinnie Phillips, and these two are charging away as we go into lap number 9. So Stilp and Phillips, Robinson, Gregory, Stevens, and now Ekberg. Then Simmons, Hassan and Hobson, as Freddie Allen has broken his way into the top 10 now by passing Joe Rippin. Terrific tussle. Robinson still just about hanging on in there from Henry Gregory, and it's not easy to hold on to this kind of position. The battle is really raging. Has Gregory got a problem? He's dropping way back all of a sudden. Rylan Ekberg closing up and passing. Gripping racing at Rowrah as always. We'll be right back when racing continues. More action than you can shake a stick at here at Rowrah as the battle continues in the Ultimate Karting Championship Mini X30 Final, round 1 of 2020 here at Rowrah. And it's still Stilp in front of Vinnie Phillips as Leo Robertson tries to chase them down. I've got a sneaky suspicion that Henry Gregory is struggling a little bit up the inside. That is a bold lunge from Jack Hobson to get on the inside again of Aidan Hassan. Battling so much that his camera position's actually moved a little bit. Slightly higher up his shoulder there. But Hobson is still duking it out with Aidan Hassan. They're having a terrific battle as we go into lap 11. So Hassan is going to try and give Hobson a piece of his mind as they come through the chicane. He's got a good run, and surely he'll make his bid on the inside. We cut to the battle further up with Ethan Simmons just at the wrong moment there, but I'm fairly sure Hassan did in fact get through. Yes, he did, but Hobson's got him straight back again. So Hobson is not going to let Aidan Hassan have this one easily. He's got another chance. Hobson still defends. Hassan still having a look as we go into lap 12. And that's Rylan Ekberg in front of Ella Stevens, who has caught right up. Stevens trying to make her bid to come through. Out of the hairpin, down the back straight. Can Stevens nick one up the inside? Yes, she can! Beautiful move from Ella Stevens. That puts her up another position into P4. But Gabriel Stilp is just marching away out front. Absolutely superb run from him now. He's started to break the toe of Vinnie Phillips. And now Hassan is going to get the move on Hobson into the final turn. Job done, isn't it? Has Hobson managed to come back on the exit? No, he has not. So that's a great move from Aiden Hassan as he makes up another place. Now, there's Ella Stevens in front of Rylan Ekberg through the right-hand hairpin and down the back straight once again. Stevens under so much pressure from Ekberg, but she is not going to move. Lap 14. Still a great race from Gabriel Stilp up front. Vinnie Phillips doing well as he holds station. And there is the 37. That is Leah Robinson doing a fair job in front of Ella Stevens. Then Rylan Ekberg. No dramatic changes in the format and certainly not in the positions either. It looks as though it's going to be Gabriel Stilp to the flag the way things currently fare. Ella Stevens just about hanging on by a knife edge from Rylan Ekberg. It's getting pretty serious out there between these two. And Ekberg is looking for every opportunity he can find on Ella Stevens. Down the main straight, across the line again. And into that very difficult uphill section. They call it the Eau Rouge of British karting. And it really is a tough section. Is Ella Stevens going to get back on terms with Rylan Ekberg? Ekberg got through. Stevens is back in pursuit again. And down the back straight, Ekberg going the long way round. Oh dear, Stevens not quite able to hang on in front of Ekberg this time. Terrific jostling from two of the best in Mini X30 in 2020. Across the line they come again. And still the battle raging between Rylan Ekberg and Ella Stevens everywhere you look around the course. But Gabriel Stilp is just chocking away. Every apex is at his mercy at the moment. And still this duel between Jack Hobson and Aiden Hassan will know no bounds. But Gabriel Stilp is just ticking off the laps now one by one. Stevens right on the back of Rylan Ekberg again. Up into the hairpin section. This is the opportunity. And Stevens piles on the pressure. Ekberg is the one who cracks. And Stevens gets through one more time. Gabriel Stilp just dancing his way around every apex here at Rowrah. He's making it look like child's play in front of Vinnie Phillips. He can't handle him at the moment. And still we've got Stevens in front of Ekberg. But Gabriel Stilp is just taking it in his stride here out of the final turn. And he goes into lap 19, which is the last lap of the race. And how about this? We've got Hassan battling away with Hobson. And in the mix there as well is that Joe Rippin. Has he come back into it? Yes, he has. And Stevenson and Ekberg are still at it. They're still relentlessly dueling. Ella Stevens now in defensive mode, trying to protect the inside line, and it looks okay. But what a result it's going to be as Gabriel Stilp takes the victory out of the final turn. Vinnie Phillips will be second. Leo Robinson will be third in front of Ella Stevens and Rylan Ekberg. A fantastic race here at Rowrah, and what a drive from Gabriel Stilp, who made it look oh so easy.
Well, the X30 Minis delivering some fantastic racing there. Here's what they had to say at the podium.
It was good. I'm happy with the result, but sadly we couldn't get into our position because the engine wouldn't start, sadly. But yeah, we got back into position around 5th or 6th, and then just drove through, got to 2nd.
Like in the first heat we got a nose cone, and then the second heat we won it, and then the third heat we came second. Then in the final we just drove away.
So we're continuing at pace up here in Cumbria at Rowrah, and next out on track are the X30 Juniors. Unrestricted 125cc engines on board mean that at the fastest sections of this circuit they could see themselves reaching 70 miles per hour. It is always exciting racing, and Jake's standing by with your commentary.
We're under starters' orders here at Rowrah. It's Junior X30. Away we go, and Darrell Taylor gets the jump into second place. Whoopsie! One or two karts went airborne into the first corner there. We're on board with Robbie Stapleford. That is Lewis Mackey, who started on the front row. He's down to third. Stapleford still running well in fourth. Two more camera karts in this race. Macy Hitter and Charlie Rippin will join them over the course of the race. As into the hairpin for the first time through the right-hander. And there's a little bit of jostling for position. Here's Macy Hitter in behind Shaw. Oh, and that's a little tag with Louis Johnston Cool. So easy for two karts to get tangled up in that part of the course. In fact, three of them are in there because that's Alicia Bradshaw in amongst it all as well. So easy to do. No driver at fault. It's just the conflagration. Too many karts into too small a space. So out in front it is Luke Watts in the lead. Second position, no problem at all for Darrell Taylor at the moment. From Mackey, Stapleford, James Walker. Then it's Kanato Lee, the Japanese driver, from Harry Jr. Burgoyne and Brandon Carr. On board with Stapleford, up to the final hairpin. We don't want to let Lewis Mackey get too far ahead of us, otherwise it's going to be a very lonely race out there. Into lap 2. And just outside that battle, we've got Jessica Edgar in 9th place behind Brandon Carr. And Aidan Line is in 10th position. That is Aidan Line. We're on board with Charlie Rippin, making our move up the inside at the same time that Jessica Edgar gets the move on Brandon Carr. And up the inside of the 22 there of Charlie Rippin. Well, that looks like the place he's just gained. He's just lost again. And that is obviously to James Walker. So the battle continues up to the hairpin. Oh, this is a bit cheeky from Rippin. Oh, cheeky as you like. Audacious on the inside of Aidan Line. Thank you, mate. I'll have that overtaking move, please. And just gets the move. No problem at all in terms of his aggression and his stances. Well, I'm going for the move, so you can like it or lump it. Into lap 3. Still no problem for Watts. He's in front of Taylor. Darrell Taylor, second position to Lewis Mackey in third. Then Stapleford. We're on board with Rippin as he continues to make his way through this beautiful course. Just look at the backdrop. There's nothing quite like Rowrah in the heart of Cumbria. One of the most beautiful and picturesque race circuits in Britain. What a venue for the UKC opener, and that's a beautiful lunge on the inside line there as Kanato Lee makes up a place, the Japanese driver. Storming through. Now this is Macy Hitter, wheel to wheel with Alicia Bradshaw, and that's how to get the job done. Lovely bit of overtaking and great racecraft between the two as they come into lap 4. And a great battle thus far. Watts, Taylor, Mackey, Stapleford, Kanato Lee. And we're on board with Stapleford as we charge up behind Mackey in the battle for third position. And they're hunting after Darrell Taylor up in second place. Great move on the inside from Brandon Carr. He gets the overtaking move now, and that gains him a place. Kanato Lee still trying to hang it out there in front of Harry Jr. Burgoyne, who is now right up in the mix. He's in 6th position, having moved his way through. Can he get the move on Kanato Lee? He's going to have to try a bit harder. We're on board with Stapleford, who has now caught Lewis Mackey. And as they come into lap 5, Watts still holds station. How beautiful is this run as we've got battles all the way through this field now. Up into the chicane. And a great little jockey for position. That's Burgoyne getting his move on the inside of Kanato Lee. And I think now trying to get her own way through is Jessica Edgar. She wants a piece of the action. And this is going to be an interesting little squabble. Stapleford now making his lunge on the inside of Mackey. It's a big dive, but he makes it stick. Lovely overtake from Stapleford. Pure conviction, no hesitation. Getting on with it. Whoops! He can't quite say the same about Rippin as he loses 2 places and immediately tries to come back at Aidan Line. Did they bang wheels? Certainly looked like they came close to it. Certainly flirting with the edge of disaster as they go into lap 6 now. Massive tank slapper through that first corner. You really can let the back end hang out. You talk to X30 drivers and they say they are not for the impatient. Whoops! And that's Edgar. darting up the inside of Kanato Lee. No team orders there, and certainly no love lost. Into the braking zone. Is there going to be a move again from Brandon Carr? He does seem to be sizing up the Japanese driver in the number 29. Kanato Lee, one of the many drivers in recent years who have come over from Japan to the British karting scene because they know just how competitive it is. Warning flag has gone out. Not quite sure who that was for, but certainly there's been a couple of interesting manoeuvres around the circuit. But then, when you're trying to find the ultimate karting champion, you're going to get the ultimate decisive moves out there on the circuit. So down the back straight. This is where things are going to get quite tricky and technical. Continue through on the far side. Brandon Carr still looking for his way past Jessica Edgar and Kanato Lee as we go into lap 8. And this is getting tougher by the lap. Watts, Taylor, Stapleford. So Watts from Taylor, they will duke it out to the battle for victory. Who's going to get there first? This isn't going to be an easy race to resolve. When we rejoin the action, the checkered flag will fly. The drama continues here at Rowrah. We're on lap 8 of the Ultimate Karting Championship, and it's the Junior X30 final, one of the toughest classes in British karting. And that's why you're seeing some amazing roaring battles around this beautiful, picturesque circuit here at Rowrah. That looked like Macy Hitter making her way back through the field. There's Watts out in the lead as he continues to charge his way forward. No problems at all as he goes into lap 9. He leads the way from Darrell Taylor, the man who was robbed at the Dubai O Plate back in January of this year. Being hunted down a little now by Robbie Stapleford. 4th place from Lewis Mackey. Harry Jr. Burgoyne, Jessica Edgar in 6th from Kanato Lee, then Brandon Carr, and just inside the top 10 we've got Sam Shaw and Charlie Rippin having their own terrific battle. In fact, this is that battle. Charlie Rippin has caught up to Sam Shaw, and now he's going to banzai up the inside. Oh, this is another lunge further back, as that looks to me like the 88 of Alex Moody, the 188 I should say of Alex Moody, duking away with Macy Hitter into the hairpin there, and manages to have a lovely little duel as they come out of Iredale's. Shaw, Rippin. We're on board with Charlie Rippin, still trying to hunt down Shaw as Watts goes into lap number 10, still in the lead with Taylor and Stapleford giving chase. Lewis Mackey in P4 from Harry Jr. Burgoyne and Jessica Edgar. And we're on board again with Stapleford, just chipping away a little by little at Darrell Taylor in 2nd place. You don't need to do it too much over the course of a race. You're looking after tyres, you're looking after brakes, you're not pushing yourself too hard, you don't want to wear yourself out. Chasing, far easier in these races than being chased, and you can let the guy in front of you do all the hard work just by sitting on their back bumper and letting the race play out. Here we go, Stapleford, look how physical it is through these lefts and rights as he pushes very hard on the limit. He's not a million miles ahead of Lewis Mackey either. He's got a chance to get back into this in 3rd as Harry Jr. Burgoyne continues to wrestle with the elements in 5th place ahead of Jessica Edgar. But it looks as though Edgar is hungry for more than what she currently has on her plate. So here's the battle again between Shaw and Rippin. The duel for 9th position. Rippin looking very hungry through the chicane. A little bit of a missed moment there for Shaw as the back end stepped out a little. Just the slightest twitch and that's all it takes. Edgar getting closer and closer to Burgoyne. Kanato Lee is still right there for the hunt as well. As they come off a hairpin, you can see in the background Shaw and Rippin. Here's the move from Edgar. She's been building up to this and she gets the overtaking opportunity now on Harry Jr. Burgoyne. So that puts Jess Edgar up another place. She's going to be representing her country at the FIA Women in Motorsport Commission at Le Mans later this season. And she's making sure she has a rip-roaring season in every area. Lap 12, and still Luke Watts, pursued by Darrell Taylor and Robbie Stapleford, making mincemeat of the opposition out front. Look at the gap he's got. It's looking so sweet at the moment. But on board with Stapleford, he still wants to pursue Darrell Taylor. He still has the faith. You've got to keep that inner confidence that you can catch the driver up in front. Into the hairpin. And Jess Edgar, having got past Burgoyne, is now trying to drop him into the clutches of Kanato Lee. And Burgoyne knows it. He checks over his shoulder. Lee's going to make a big banzai. But Burgoyne is in the way. He's not going to get the opportunity as they come off of the chicane. But this man is still absolutely dominating. Watts in the lead of the race. Then Taylor and Stapleford. 4th is Mackey. And this battle for 5th continues on. Jess Edgar in front of Harry Jr. Burgoyne and Kanato Lee. On board with Stapleford. Into the hairpin at McRae's. Up to Iredale's. And this is a very tough part of the course to get right because you've got 2 big stops after 2 heavy throttle applications. So you've got to line it up absolutely right. We've seen quite a few drivers make mistakes over the course of this one. And that's because the fine line between perfection and the ragged edge is very slim. Oh, as Edgar has the position, but Kanato Lee is struggling with a completely different adversary now as Brandon Carr is getting in the mix and gets up the inside. So Brandon Carr is through. Brandon Carr gets past Kanato Lee, who tank snapped it in St John's and manages to keep control of the kart, but running the ragged edge of what he's capable of there. Now look how close Stapleford's got to the back of Darrell Taylor, and he's going to launch it. Masterful. Absolutely brilliant from Stapleford. He just launches it on the inside. There's not a lot Taylor can do. He knows he's already there. He's just got to drop in behind. Brilliant conviction from Stapleford, but Taylor's not giving up. I think this race might be one for second position. Watts is so far ahead. He's got this one in the bag, but Stapleford is under intense pressure still from Darrell Taylor. And Lewis Mackey in 4th place is still not a million miles away. Lap 15, running out of time. You've got to really push it, but Taylor is now the pursuer rather than the pursued. So great racing all down the field. Here's Charlie Rippin, tucked in behind Shaw. Once more into the chicane. Left, plenty of curb there. Stapleford still holding station in front of Darrell Taylor. They come out of Iredale's down the back straight. Is Stapleford going to get the run? He's actually pulled up alongside. He has to shut the door on him. Stapleford is not going to let Darrell Taylor through easy. But Taylor just got a decent exit out of the hairpin and managed to draw a tiny bit alongside, but no, it's not going to happen. Now Watts is actually getting close to a back marker or 2 here. So he's got to be very careful about this. That's Alicia Bradshaw. Now hopefully Watts is not going to provide too much of an issue for her to get out of the way. The blue flag waves for Bradshaw. She'll be going to lap 16. All she has to do essentially is just ease off the throttle. Watts can sail by, but obviously the onus is on the race leader to make the move on the back marker. They do say that it's the leader that comes off the racing line, just like that. Well done, Watts. Luke's done it absolutely perfectly there. And obviously the wattage on that particular move was particularly strong for Luke as he continues on his way. Luke Watts leads the way absolutely masterfully out in the front here at Rowrah. He's not really put a wheel wrong all race. He's just built that gap ever so steadily. He's never pushed harder than he's had to. And as he comes through again on lap 17, they are running out of time. You can see in the background just over a minute to go in this one. It's just about counting down those last few laps. Now Stapleford's got to be careful. He's coming up to Alicia Bradshaw to lap her. But he has to be careful where he picks his moment. If he does it wrong, then right in behind him, Darrell Taylor's going to choose the opportunity to pounce. In fact, Taylor's actually struggling to do that because he's got Lewis Mackey on his heels. So down the back straight, no problem for Stapleford to lap Bradshaw, but is Mackey going to get the move? Up into 3rd position, he does! He gets Darrell Taylor in the braking zone! Brilliant move from Lewis Mackey! Take that! Superb and into 3rd position. Oh, the Ultimate Karting Championship definitely giving us plenty of spice and lots of sugar as well on the inside. Mackey just barnstorms at the inside of Bradshaw, didn't wait for the blue flag. I'm in a hurry, I've got Darrell Taylor on my 6th. So through the chicane, continuing the battle. Absolutely brilliant. What a place to run the first round of the championship. You know you're in for a thrill fest around Rowrah. It couldn't have been better. Rippin, tucked up behind Shaw. Is this going to be the move into McRae's? No, he's not going to throw it that crazy onto the inside line. Iredale's he's got a good chance though if he lines it up right. No, Shaw holds his nerve. He's not going to let any cheap overtakes in tonight. Here comes the move on the inside. Again from Darrell Taylor. He gets past Mackey now for 3rd position. Lovely bit of race banter between these two all the way through the race. Stapleford in 2nd. We're on board with him. He's just been able to check out Charlie up the road, but not able to get close to this man into the final lap of the race. Luke Watts. Oh, it looks like a mechanical flag has gone out on the last lap. Can't quite figure out who that is for. I wonder if that is for Alicia Bradshaw. I'm just taking a wild guess, but we've lost a few drivers from the race already. James Walker and Macy Hitter have both rather sadly had to retire from the fray. But Luke Watts has been absolutely barnstorming in this race. No hesitation, and Shaw is still dueling away with the 22 here of Charlie Rippin as they are in a drag race down the back straight. Can Rippin get there to the braking zone? Oh yes, he can. Lovely job from Rippin on the last lap to get into 9th place. And there's still a terrific tussle. This time there's 3 of them in there. You've got Mackey, Edgar and Darrell Taylor. Into the final turn comes Luke Watts. He's going to get the victory. Lovely job in front of Robbie Stapleford. He gets the fastest lap. But these two are side by side, Mackie and Taylor, and watch out for Edgar. Edgar gets up the inside, and there's going to be a drag race to the line. It's Mackie in front of Edgar and Darryl Taylor. Burgoyne in 6th from Kart, Lee, Rippin and Sam Shaw. Awesome stuff here at Rowrah.
Well, Lewis Mackie just managing to get himself on the podium there in the final lap of that one. But the man who did all the hard work in the early part of the race and gets the top step of the podium was Luke Watts. And here's what they had to say when I caught up with them afterwards.
It's had to get away at the start and then be consistent to try and get the win and have a good lead.
So, looking at the standings after Rowrah, in Super Cadet, it's Nathan Tighe, 21 points ahead of O'Grady, Slater and Wolf after a stunning weekend. Several names to watch out for over the season, as many drivers are still getting up to speed in the early stages, but it won't be long before they are competing at the front end of the grid as well. There's plenty of talent in the IAMI Super Cadet field in 2020. Next time out, you can be sure of an exciting fight again. Only 10 points cover the top 3 drivers in Mini X30, with Stilp ahead of Phillips and Ekberg, but with the likes of Gregory, Robinson and Stevens snapping at their heels, this is going to be a close title fight whichever way you cut it. Junior X30 should be pretty exciting too, as the underdogs have surged forward this weekend with Luke Watts 20 points clear of Lewis Mackie and Darryl Taylor, with the big guns at Fusion and Oliver Olin Motorsport giving chase, and with plenty of exciting races in the field, who knows what else the Ultimate Karting Championship will serve up in 2020.
So that brings us to an end of our first 3 bouts of action here from Rowrah in Cumbria. 3 super finals gave us loads of excitement, and next time you join us there'll be 4 more super finals to come. Until then, from all of us here, see ya.